Okay, we'll open it up for questions for Jeff. We'll start right here with Jim Utter. Please state your name and affiliation. Then we'll go to Joe right here, and then Kenny. Then we'll go to the other side of the room.
Jim Utter, Shell Observer. Another kind of road course question. And it was mentioned in your previous press conference, but there's been a lot of talk about, especially from fans who seem to think that the road course races have been a little bit more entertaining than some of the others that they've seen. I just wondered your thoughts on that. Is that more because, as Clint mentioned, I mean, obviously double file restarts, but is it people trying to get as much as they can, as quick as they can? Has there been a kind of a general downgrade in the quality, you think, of road course racing?
Well, I think most of it's a double file restart. I think what happens is as the race progresses, everybody gets more aggressive. But when you have double file restarts late in the late stages of the race, it definitely presents the opportunity for a lot more, bumping and aggressive moves. And I know at Sonoma, you could run four or five corners side by side before it ever really gets single file after a restart. And so there's a lot of opportunities for guys to create a lot of action that's exciting, and I think the fans certainly enjoy that. Here at Watkins Glen, I think that while that is possible, and it will happen, you have to get narrowed down once you get to the S's, but it does fan back out as you get into the inner loop. So it very well could present the same things this weekend, for some great racing action as far as getting heated and causing controversy and seeing the emotions flare of the drivers during and after the race.
Joe
Manzer, NASCAR.com. Jeff, what do you think about possibly someday having a road course in the Chase?
Well, I've always said, I think that in order to make the championship fully complete, and find out the true best team and driver, the only thing that I think we're missing in the Chase right now is a road course. I feel like the Chase has about everything right now, from short tracks to super speedways to intermediates. So I think it's pretty complete right now, but it is, if you wanted to just look at one little thing it was missing, it would be a road course. And I guess as exciting as the road courses have been here lately with these double file restarts, I think the fans, would be for it as well. Where in the past you haven't seen that kind of action, and so most people would say, road course isn't as traditional as the ovals are in our sport. So why have one in the Chase? But I could see one in there.
Okay, a question here, then Kenny, then back to Mike.
Hi, Ed Coombs from Gator Racing News. Have you done any testing for the road courses this year, and what are your feelings on, should we continue to have a ban on testing at the sanctions track after Brad's accident, and any feeling on the boot, racing in the boot?
Well, I have not tested this year on the road courses. We went back and forth between Alan and myself and our engineers talking about testing this year on the road courses. The schedule didn't work out for us, to do it. We wanted to do it, but I tested at this track last year and came here and couldn't get out of my own way. So we're taking a little bit different approach this year. We're going to focus on the engineering side of it and 7-post and wind tunnel and just past history here. And we're going to try to put our best effort on focusing on building the best road course car that we can and see how that works for us this year. As far as the boot's concerned, I've never run the boot. I've heard great things from other drivers that have run it. I know Jimmy's run it in the prototypes, and he likes it. Tony's mentioned the same thing. What I do like about it is it offers, and I'm not exactly sure, but at least one more passing opportunity, if not maybe two. And I think sometimes that's one of the things we miss on the road courses as we shorten the tracks up, particularly Sonoma, when they took out that inner loop. To me, it took away the best passing zone that we had on that racetrack, and I missed that, and the challenges that came along with it. So the boot, I think, could be a lot of fun and could be interesting to run here.
Okay, due to some driver constraints, we're going to take these final 2 questions for Jeff and then continue on with our availability. We'll start with Kenny and go back to Mike.
Kenny Bruce with Scene Daily. Jeff, as you're getting ready to go into the chase, I mean, you've been there before. Do you do anything, if you have issues with other drivers, do you do anything to kind of try to repair those relationships so that maybe you don't have issues with them once the chase gets going?
It depends on if they're in the chase or not. You know, if they're in the chase, they have as much to lose as you do. And you know, what I try to do is just race the guys as clean as I can, you know, but as hard as I can, leading into the chase to show them, you know, the way that I want to race them and hope that they race me the same way back. If I feel like it needs to have a conversation, you know, then I certainly will have a conversation with them. I think I've expressed before, you know, this whole calling guys on Mondays and Tuesdays to talk about what happened. I'm just not for that. You know, it's just not the way that I grew up doing it in this sport. We almost didn't have cell phones when I was racing here in the early stages. So, you know, we just didn't have one another's phone numbers just to pick up and call. We didn't have Twitter. We didn't have all those things. So, you know, I'm kind of old school when it comes to that. I think those things just kind of work themselves out. But you certainly don't want to have any enemies, especially enemies outside the chase. You know, everybody's out there fighting for something, but when you're out there fighting for the championship, the last thing you want is a guy that has a lot less to lose and has, you know, something he feels like he owes you. So, yeah, you know, with a guy like that, I think that you might put a little extra effort into mending those wounds.
Final question from Mike.
Mike Muller, MikeMuller.net. Sunday, the last restart, 5, 6, 10 laps to go, something like that. I get the impression the guy running third is going to determine what happens to the guys on the front row. If you're on the front row, you feel you get bumped by the guy from behind, and if you're running third, you go try to force the issue going into one or coming off of whatever.
Yeah, it's a combination of things. You know, if you're on the front row, you know, you're always trying to not overdrive the first corner to make sure that you don't make a mistake and cost you the win. But what that also does is put you in a position where the guy behind you, if he's real aggressive, can you know, get in there and either get inside of you or get in the back of you. You know, I mean, I had Biffle spin me out in turn 1 here one year, and I really blame myself because I was the pole sitter, and I felt like I just was too easy getting in there, thinking about getting the car turned, where, you know, he drove in there real deep and got in the back of me. You know, so, and that was, I think, on the original start. So you can only imagine what it would be like on a restart with 5 laps to go. Guys are going to be very aggressive, and if you're on the front row, you're going to have to go right along with them. But it's always easier to outbrake a guy when you see him brake first, and so it puts you in a position, you know, when you're third or fourth, to be able to adjust based on that. And sometimes the outside lane is the better place to be because the guys get stalled out a little bit around the bottom, and the outside lane can gain momentum. So, you know, sometimes being in that second row can definitely be a benefit here.
Jeff, thank you for your
Thank
time.
you.
Congratulations on being a new legend here at Watkins Glen, and good luck this weekend.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I talked to Mike. I think we're okay. Either way.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
But we'll go fast.
Okay, at this time.